How you guys all doing today? Welcome back to the GSMC Chip Shot Football Podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Manny Maradiaga, live today on Wednesday, June the 5th, to again talk about some more storylines going around the NFL currently. We're going to be talking some more new contracts as Christian McCaffrey just got his new extension on the current deal that he had to reset the running back market again himself. We're going to be talking about that, and also this discussion I wanted to get into with all the wide receivers now getting a lot more lucrative deals, how the evolution of the NFL has sort of played into why these wide receivers are looked at as more valuable now than a few years past, and why they're getting more money now as the NFL continues to push more of a passing game than a running game per se, and also some more rankings on the receiver groups as well, this time in the AFC West. All those and much more are coming up on today's show, so please remember to like, follow, and subscribe to the GSMC Chip Shot Football Podcast. And as a reminder, if you have any questions or comments, use the tip and donations link, GSMCPodcast.net, as you see there on your screen. By using that, I'm able to see your question and read it on air, and that way, get your guys' thoughts or perspective on anything I say or on any of the topics I have on hand today. It's a massive help for the show, so again, if you would, please use the tip and donations link, GSMCPodcast.net. But back to the main topic, the one I want to start off with, Christian McCaffrey resetting the running back market again, because he did it before. He was the highest paid running back already, but now, as it was announced yesterday, the new contract extension between the 49ers and Christian McCaffrey saw him receive a 2-year extension worth $38 million on that, meaning that he will get that salary bumped up to about $19 million per year from that $16 million per year that he was already on. And also, like I mentioned before, his total salary just from this year into this new extension will jump up and be increased by $8 million, and also he'll get $24 million more in guaranteed money. This whole situation, to kind of give it a little bit of background with the 49ers and why this extension is only 2 years, is because when the 49ers traded back in 2022 for Christian McCaffrey, they also took on the contract, the newer contract that the Carolina Panthers also gave him, just 2 years away from that in 2020. That was a 4-year, $64 million deal with $16 million per year, which was the contract that he was already on. The 49ers took that in. He was already the highest paid running back and had 2 more years left on that deal, but the biggest issue that I guess Christian McCaffrey's camp and himself wanted to resolve was that there was none of his base salaries on those remaining 2 years were guaranteed money. So playing the running back position, how the market has sort of been derailed and become devalued over the last few years, you can't have no guaranteed money as a running back, just because you can't really trust these organizations really now, or just people within the organizations to really value you and not maybe move on from you in a year or two, because Christian McCaffrey is going to be 28, I think, in about 2 days, if I'm correct on that. But again, you don't really have that security there as if you were a wide receiver, a quarterback, or any other position, it seems like, on the offensive side of the ball. The running backs need to look out for themselves, and that's why we get this new extension now with Christian McCaffrey. And just to break it down a little bit more, as I was scouring through the internet and through Twitter, I saw that Spot Rack did a pretty good job of explaining the true value, if you break it down even more, as to how it all pans out for the rest of the time that Christian McCaffrey is probably going to be on the San Francisco 49ers. So the tweet read, because he has 2 years left on his current deal, that's about 2 years, $24 million guaranteed, with the 2 years left on his contract. So because of that, and assuming that this new extension is a new deal, not just adding on to the old deal, so essentially ripping up the old deal and having this new 2-year extension carry on right afterwards, he has that new $38 million coming in and plus 2 more years, so that would add up to 4 years, and the 38 plus the 24 that he has guaranteed or left on his deal would add up to $62 million in total value. So that deal would run through 2027, 4 years, $62 million, meaning about 15 to 16 in salary, but that obviously gets boosted up a little bit more just on the extension. And that really, if you look at it into another aspect of this, that would carry him into his 30s, 31 years old exactly by 2027. So, again, that comes with some more narratives now. Do you feel comfortable playing a running back that amount of money, still being the highest paid in the NFL into his 30s? I think Derrick Henry's also around. I want to say he's around 10 million, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more, give or take a million or so. But he's well into his 30s or 31 years old now, if my memory serves me right. So he isn't getting the amount of money that Christian McCaffrey's paid, but also the timing of the deal, projecting what Christian McCaffrey will look like in 3 years, 2 years is something that we would probably never finish having a conversation about based on the injuries that could happen, maybe just how his body develops with all the wear and tear on it. So far, so good for Christian McCaffrey. He's dealt with some nagging ones, but I think for the most part, he's been healthy. So the 49ers felt comfortable paying him into his 30s. Kyle Shanahan also addressed it at the mini camp or at the OTAs that have been going on for the 49ers, how he feels very comfortable with it. He mentioned that Christian McCaffrey is one of the most talented guys he has ever seen, so really not worried about the injuries or paying a guy into his 30s. If he's good, he's good is basically the message that Kyle Shanahan was trying to relay there. And now also, how this is not just great for Christian McCaffrey, obviously, for getting all this security and money, but also for the 49ers because with this new extension, fixing around the salary cap a little bit, it creates about $7.4 million in cap space for the 49ers, and you add that on with the $18 million they also received from the post-June 1st release designation of Eric Armstead. That pretty much brings them to about $32 million in cap space, and that's massive. That's massive, not just because you obviously want more cap space and not have to worry about it, but also with the Brandon Ayuk situation looming over their heads. This maybe not guarantees it, but at least it gives them a better chance of trying to do that. If that is the direction that you would feel that they're inclined to going, maybe just spitballing here a little bit with this whole situation, you might ask yourselves why hasn't Brandon Ayuk been extended, or why haven't the conversations been going a little bit further than some of these other deals that have gotten done, because this has been going on all offseason, but in the meantime, the 49ers have extended Juwan Jennings, have given this new deal to Christian McCaffrey, and you're left wondering how and when will this deal get done. I swear they've mentioned the extension to possibly Brock Purdy more than this Brandon Ayuk deal. That's just how I feel. That's what it seems like, honestly, at this point. And with how this is going, you could look at it in the positive way, saying that they're just creating more cap space, that it will get done eventually. Or you could be thinking negatively, depending on if you're a 49ers fan, I guess, that they're trying to get everybody that they can secured in the case that Brandon Ayuk is closer to leaving. They have secured the rest of their weapons and don't have to worry about somebody else maybe potentially leaving after that. If they secure everybody else and know that they're going to have other playmakers on their team, you could sort of withstand Brandon Ayuk being traded or just moving on from him if it doesn't work out with the price range and everything like that. Those are the two sides of it. Those are sort of the options I'm thinking of right now because of how this is all playing out. And not to say that Christian McCaffrey doesn't deserve this deal right now. He was probably their best player, most consistent player. Just in 2013, if you look at it, he recorded 1,459 rushing yards, 14 rushing touchdowns, 564 receiving yards, and 7 receiving touchdowns. Was named the Offensive Player of the Year. One of, if not the main reason they were such a juggernaut getting to the Super Bowl. So, it's not like he doesn't deserve it. It's astronomical for Christian McCaffrey, and this running back market for a running back to now be earning close to $20 million is remarkable, and it is a small list of the running backs only making about $10 million or more. It's Josh Jacobs, Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley, and Alvin Kamara as the other ones, and I'm not saying this is going to revolutionize the position, now everyone's going to get it, but it is a step in the right direction because you're sort of pushing it now that if a guy comes in and is such a weapon, such a catalyst for being such a dynamic player for an offense, maybe it isn't so crazy to pay him north of 17, $18 million. But again, it almost seems like an anomaly on the other side because not everybody is Christian McCaffrey and not everybody can put up these numbers. You'd hope that's the result of some of these talented running backs. Probably the most talented one after that would probably be Saquon Barkley, and you'd hope he would put up similar numbers with the Eagles, but he's getting paid a lot less, and there's a lot bigger gap now between where Saquon and Alvin Kamara sit as one of the highest paid running backs to now where Christian McCaffrey sits, a little bit split off at the top of the mountain. But overall, it is remarkable for Christian McCaffrey. Definitely earned it and definitely deserves this money. I heard a good point today in our production meeting that if you look at some wide receivers that are getting paid a lot more, some wide receivers are getting paid $26, $27 million, and you could argue that Christian McCaffrey is a lot more vital to the 49ers than those wide receivers are, who might be the second option on their team. So that's another thing to consider, not to devalue the running backs too often, because a lot of times they do a lot more than some of these wide receivers are getting paid, or tight ends, or whatever the case may be, and they're not getting paid as such. You know, it is a problem for a running back and how the league views the evolution of the game going forward, but McCaffrey gets paid accordingly, and good for him, good for the 49ers to secure one of their, if not the most vital piece to their offense. But on that topic, it does allow me to transition into a break right now, but also in the segment right after the break, talking about the evolution of the game, how the devaluing of running backs and sort of the elevation of the passing game has shifted this momentum from the NFL to pay the wide receivers more and more, give them more and more money because of how the NFL is becoming a lot more passer friendly over these last few years. I'll get more into that after the break, like I mentioned, so don't go anywhere. You're listening to the GSMC Chip Shot Football Podcast.
I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits. I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift. Oh, I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?